leaked texts on Scott Bessent's phone suggest the White House got played bailing out Argentina. This is amazing. An Associated Press reporter was able to shoot a picture over Scott Bessent. You know, Scott Bessent is the billionaire who's our Treasury Secretary. And it was a text message by the Associated Press from our Agriculture Secretary, Brooke Rollins. And Brooke Rollins had written to Scott Bessent, and I quote, "Finally, just a heads up, I'm getting more intel, but this is highly unfortunate. We bailed out Argentina yesterday, and in return, Argentines are removing their export tariffs on grains, reducing their price, and they just sold a bunch of soybeans to China at a time when we would normally be selling to China. Soy prices are dropping further because of it. It gives China more leverage on us." Now, this is what she's talking about here is Trump wants to help out his buddy, Javier Milei, the president of Argentina. And, Milei had never been a politician. He was an economist. He's kind of a crackpot. He's the weird guy with weird hair and facial hair. And I mean, not to knock that, but for a politician, he doesn't look like a conventional politician, particularly in Argentina. And so he's got this kind of flamboyant persona, like, I am, extraordinary or something. And I'm saying that as a guy who had, hair down to his shoulders for a third of my life. So anyhow, he's just, Milei is not just a crackpot economist and a libertarian. He's also following the dictator's playbook down in Argentina, he's only in the early stages of it, and he's gutted the social safety net down in Argentina. And so now Trump wants to help him out because his party has midterm elections coming up in the next few weeks. I'm not sure exactly when. Actually, I think they're in November. In fact, they must be in November because it was in November when Luis and I were in Argentina 2 years ago during the last election when he was elected. And so Trump sent him $20 billion. And what did he do with that $20 billion? He gave it to the Argentinian soybean farmers. And, well, he didn't, actually, let me fix that. He didn't give the money to the Argentine soybean farmers. What he did was he said, cool, now we don't need the billions of dollars that we make on export taxes on soybeans, the revenue stream into the government. We don't need that any longer, so we can do away with that tax. And so he eliminated the export tax, the export tariff on soybeans. And suddenly, the price of Argentinian soybeans dropped by whatever that tariff was. Frankly, I don't know the percentage, but I'm sure it's, you can search for it. And what that did is it lowered the price of Argentinian soybeans, which is a huge crop in Argentina, and it lowered that price so much that it's dropping the price of soybeans all around the world, and it's wiping out American soybean farmers. Donald Trump owned himself. And now you've got the head of the Soybean Association, the American Soybean Association. Yes, there is such a thing. Its president is a guy named Caleb Regland. And he issued this statement. He said, quote, U.S. soybean prices are falling, harvest is underway, and farmers read headlines not about securing a trade agreement with China, but that the U.S. government is extending $20 billion in economic support to Argentina, while that country drops its soybean export taxes to sell 20 shiploads of Argentine soybeans to China in just 2 days. Trump owned himself and the Republicans. Now, this is kind of sliding under the radar and all the hubbub about the shutdown, but I think it's a fascinating story.